Hey everyone, welcome to another interesting day on planet Earth. And what a ride it has been, especially over the last 2 weeks. I've felt very impulsed to come and have a quick chat and give you an update of what's happening because I'm sure a few of you are thinking, why am I feeling so tired? What's going on? I feel a bit scattered. So, yesterday I had a group here from Connecting Consciousness. They come every month and we have a chat about certain topics that come up. And yesterday I was asking the group, what's the general feel? If you had to describe what the general feel is out there, the energy of it. And pretty much everyone said it feels very fragmented and scattered, and people were going through feeling a bit discombobulated by everything out there. And there's a few factors for that. And the first is the Schumann resonance, which is the frequency of the earth is up at 75 amps today. So it's quite up as far as that. And if you go and have a look at that, you'll see there's quite a lot of light coming in. On top of that, we have some solar M2 flares. So obviously anything that happens from the sun, any of the gamma radiation that comes also affects us. So over probably last Thursday and over the weekend, you will have had periods where you're just exhausted and you're feeling, what's going on? I haven't done anything and I just feel like I need to sleep, which is exactly what you need to do. And so that's all pretty normal. We're also in today, which is a full moon, and the full moon is in Aquarius, which is an air sign. And Aquarius has a lot always going on in their mind and often think that people understand them. I know Aquarius is carrying a water vessel, but it's not a water sign. It's actually an air sign. So it's a mental sign. So lots of stimulation in the head. And I was asking yesterday, with everything that was going on as in the world currently, how were you coping with that, with all the different sort of narratives? And we were discussing about how important it is to really know yourself, because it's not a made up thing, but we live in, we live in a matrix of time and space. And often there is collective thinking, which you call egregores, that basically create this thinking, this group thinking. And if you don't know the difference between your thinking and an insertive program into the matrix, it can keep you feeling very lost and wondering all of a sudden why you're feeling out of sorts. And of course, if you give power to that thinking and allow it to seep into your consciousness and then process it mentally, you start to then create that into the world. But also then most people feel they have an element of that within them, and they start assimilating it from emotions. And then the next thing you know, we're really stuck in the quagmire of the current energy. And so today in Melbourne, it happens to be a beautiful day. So it's a perfect time to go out and just ground your energies in the sun and really just taking in some deep breaths. One of the other things that I was discussing with this group on the weekend was the idea of changing information. Now, in the techniques we use from Grigori Grabovoi, we look at what is causing us in this now, some pain in some area, because usually people are experiencing something physical. But we don't get in and unpack it like, what was the emotion? How did it happen? That's all left brain trying to understand. And it's a very, very slow way to resolve the problem. We notice the distortion in the field and then we change the field. Now, that's done on the informational, it's done on the spiritual level. And how do we know then that we're getting guidance from our soul and that the spiritual level is working? Is in that process of doing the control. Most of the people in my community will know that I will say when we go through a process, how does this feel in or around your physical body? Because I'm trying to get you to understand we're not just this physical body, we're multidimensional. And so our soul will tell us when we're actually in alignment, because when we're working, it'll feel like it's more joyful, or you'll feel more powerful within yourself, and you feel more expanded, compared to when you're in fear or you're frustrated. You'll feel more contracted. And the other element to realize in that is the difference between feelings and emotions. A feeling describes what's happening with you. I feel sad. And the emotion is going into why you feel sad. And then you'll start to put energy in motion about that and unpack it on multiple levels and start to look into areas of your life that may cause you to feel that. If that was me working, I'd be looking at my matrices again, or doing a control and starting to shift the energy that's happening. And it's very easy if you, for instance, imagine that there is a matrix in front of you. If you were to observe it and see, is there any cloudiness? Is there any darkness in that? And then you can send a silvery white sphere of E equals Vs, which is the formula for the transformation of energy of life, and see it around the matrix. And then in your consciousness, just give it the objective to shrink it and capture all negative information. And then when it's a tiny dot, you can blow it away into the creator for further development. So that's how we play. We don't get in and unpack it. There are times when you have to consider how your thinking may affect everything that's happening around you. And then also you may need to use a control to change the program of your thinking. So there's all sorts of different ways. But right now, at the moment, we're all being very challenged. This full moon is a tough one to get through. Usually people feel very aligned and light, but currently it's the heaviness, many narratives. So please disengage from the fear and the narrative out there, because it'll just add to what is happening currently. It's really important to perhaps have some salt baths just to ground your energies even further, and just spend some quiet time. Now, I often tell our community to jump onto YouTube and look at some solfeggio frequencies, and those solfeggio frequencies are the true frequencies, the music, the true frequencies that were originally available before they were changed by the Rockefeller family. So please today just take extra care and understand that we are going through a very difficult time at the moment. And don't allow yourself to get into fear. One of the people said yesterday, now that we've talked about this, now that I understand that, I know when I leave here, I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to go out and try to change what's happening in Australia, or rally against the forces that are trying to control us. And my reply to him was, yes, but you do have power over your thoughts. And in your consciousness, you can say, I do not consent. You do not have my power. Because what's happening at the moment is trying to convince you that you're small, powerless, just a worthless bottom dweller, hurting the earth. And they're trying to confuse people and their identities. We certainly know how that's working with many agendas, and what actually are you, because they're trying to confuse people about what gender. It was interesting. I was talking to my 15-year-old grandson, and he said, you know what? They changed mental health for boys and people out there into rainbow flags all over the school, and it just makes me cross. He said, I had two friends that died just after lockdown. They took their own life, and we don't have a chance to talk about how we feel. And I thought that was really great of a 15-year-old. He said, we talk together and talk about our feelings and discuss it, but that's about where they feel safe with their friends. They're finding it hard to move outside of that sometimes. And of course, if your friends haven't got the answers, the kids now are starting to feel a bit disillusioned because the parents are certainly off key or busy or racing around and haven't got the time to sit with them and say, what's going on? And how is this affecting you? And it's affecting the kids greatly at the moment. And so as they start to put more of the agenda and, let's get into AI and, the whole thing, it's so important just to stand in our own power. And as we're still just in that energy of Leo in astrologically, remember what the Leo stands for: the courage, strength, resilience, courageousness to be able to claim your own sovereignty. We are human beings. We have immense power. Our options are limitless. We are part of the Creator. Our soul and spirit are part of the Creator. Our physical body is an expression of our soul. Our physical body is the antenna between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. It's there to keep us on track and show us when we're off path. And we really need to value that part of ourselves and certainly look after ourselves at this time. But most importantly, don't forget that the more they try to take you away and you feeling that you're not powerful, it's because we are. And that's why systems would try to stop you from realizing that. It's not a dull future ahead. It's just we're moving through a quagmire of stuff that has been there for a very long time. And out of that, we have to call on our own guides and spirit guides and our own soul, call on our own power within, or of some of the like-minded collective people around you who are thinking the same. And, it's often good to put your hand up and say, I need a bit of help with this. And so realize that we're going to move through this. We're not going to end up in some Armageddon or some terrible narrative that they've got going on currently. It's really important to find each day a moment to fill yourself with joy. And my community know I always go into nature and just fill my body up with that beautiful energy of nature, because that's all about life, and life is important. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.